Always good to give it a few seconds, though. Welcome, everybody, to 6 Feet From Stardom, my show where I bring Toronto musicians in here and force them to pretend we used to be friends. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, as I said, it's 6 Feet From Stardom. I know what you're thinking. There's usually 3 of us in here. Unfortunately, I had to fire Rich over creative differences. He just, some people just don't get it, you know? Just kidding, everybody, of course. Rich couldn't be here, and we're carrying on without him, and we miss him very much. But enough about Rich. It's time for me to introduce our special guest this evening. Tom Moffett is a fabulous trumpet player. He's played with some pretty big acts around Canada. You might have heard of them. Arkells, Bad Bad Not Good, Shad, and others. And we're going to welcome him in right now. Tom Moffett, everybody. Tom Moffett.
Joel, it's just like the old times. There's nobody cheering for me, and I'm on the dole.
Yeah. Oh, we're all on the dole, baby.
But what a thrill it is to be here. Wait, you're supposed to be running this interview.
You know,
I kind of just jumped in.
You know, you can jump in too.
Yeah, I just kind of jumped in there.
I'm really trying to go with a non-hierarchical model of talk show. And I believe that that's a better way to
So a little
engage.
less 60 minutes.
Yeah.
A little more podcast in a weed-filled garage.
Yeah, less Charlie Rose, more Joe Rogan.
I thought we weren't going to talk about politics.
Yeah. You said in the email.
Let's not go down the brain supplements blue chew road, okay?
I'm just saying, man, as you get older, your testosterone's going to go down, and, you know.
Is that a fact?
It actually is a fact that as men age, your testosterone level's lower.
So why do old guys have way hairier backs then?
Yeah, it's true. And also, like, why do men bald as they age? Because I've also heard that balding is caused by testosterone.
I've not heard that, but I tell it to people just so that I feel more masculine and just,
for the viewer at home, Tom is bald.
Well,
Ing.
Not yet. I'm growing a skullet. Did I tell you this?
Yeah, you actually did.
Because you have a nice head of hair.
I'm actually thinning as well. I'm only a few years behind.
Is that right? Cool. Well, because right now you look like you could be in a Pantene commercial.
Yeah.
Like Pro V, like you could be Pro VI, the next iteration above
Pantene Pro Viz. Yeah.
But I'm gonna grow a skullet because I figure there's not much going on right now. You know what I mean? And working in the music industry, usually you have to look your best, right? You have to look at least presentable is kind of the low bar. Like, for instance, I wore like a gig shirt today. I wore like a button-down shirt.
I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I wanted to respect the gig. But I also wore running shoes covered in dirt. So it's, like the bar is fairly low for like looking presentable in the music industry. Like when I hear dress pants, blazer, dress code thing, to me that black jeans, that immediately says black jeans. But anyway, so presumably I'm not going to have to be on a stage for at least a little while longer. So now's the only time that I can grow a skullet and it won't affect my employability.
I think you're right. You're thinking about the things we should be thinking about in COVID, which is there's a window that is hopefully closing now. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think. I think it's reasonable to expect us to be back playing gigs like indoors, live with little to no restrictions by maybe November.
Yeah, that would be nice. That's the hope. That's my hope as well, certainly.
So we have June, July, August, September, and maybe October to do anything.
Yeah, maybe October the calls might come trickling in, you know. I hope.
So really we got 4 months to do something truly ridiculous to our physical appearance.
Well, it's unbridled hedonism, like within the government mandated health and safety guidelines. And there's nothing in those guidelines that are pro or anti-skullet. So I figure that means I can just go for it.
The science is in. Skullets do not spread COVID-19.
Man, do you remember when they were saying that beards did? Oh wait, are we gonna do COVID? Okay, whatever.
Yeah,
they were saying that like beards were bad for COVID, man. Right at the start, they were saying you can't have a beard and during COVID.
I missed that one
because
completely.
the mask doesn't work as well, which I can testify the mask doesn't work as well, certainly. But I can't shave my beard. I'll look like an idiot.
Also,
like it may be a public health and safety risk, but I would look like a dumbass. So
and like,
what am I supposed to do?
Every one
my
of
hands
things,
are tied.
It's layers of security, right? You do the 6 feet, you do the mask, you open the windows, because each one is its own line of defense.
So the beard is the lowest layer.
Yeah.
Like, like if you wanted to be like as altruistic as you could be while still engaging in some form of public life, such as like getting groceries, then I suppose you would shave your beard and maybe all of your body hair.
Yeah. But again, I think like at a certain point, it's like, yes, we should be doing everything we should do to stop COVID. But I think we have this like relevancy bias where it's like, well, you actually should not be as a whole as a shitty person.
Right.
Like, you know, and like, it's like, I feel like there's a lot of things that a lot of people do on a daily basis that are worse for humanity than having a beard while wearing a mask.
Yeah. I actually did one of those things just the other day. Because you can't buy, like I moved recently, right? I just moved. And you can't buy regular household goods right now because they're not essential.
Right.
So I needed like trash bins for my apartment. You know, just a little trash bin that goes in your kitchen or your living room or whatever when you're eating your fucking Cheetos, and so it doesn't live on the table for 3 weeks, you know?
Right.
And I had to buy it from Amazon because everything's closed. So that is for sure worse for the world than having a beard during COVID.
I bought something on Amazon.
And I did that too. I felt bad about it.
I felt bad too.
I didn't feel good about it, but I did do it.
There, Amazon, it's fascinating living in the time of Amazon because it's like, I feel like we watched sci-fi movies growing up, and in the future there was an evil corporation that had like more power than the government and controlled everything.
Sure.
Like the sort of like sci-fi megacorp.
Yeah.
And Amazon, like the guy is bald, just like all the bad guys in the movies would have been.
He probably has a Sphinx cat as well.
And I just saw this thing the other day that they have these in the Amazon warehouses where people work in utter misery.
Yeah.
They've installed these meditation booths. Okay. So you can go have like if you're
is that a euphemism for just go have a good cry?
Yeah, like it's literally it's like a phone booth, like it's a tiny thing.
Yeah.
And it's called the Amazon mindfulness booth, where these workers who like are like, you know, living this like Kafka-esque existence of like stuffing things into boxes and making like $8 an hour.
Yeah.
Can now, well, if you're upset about it, you can go have a think for 10 minutes.
Well, what's crazy to me, what's crazy to me is that they can go have they have these Zen booths, but they're pissing in jugs. They don't have bathrooms, but they can construct Zen booths everywhere. Well, it really is like it's like as evil gets. And even Google, like, do you remember when Google's like slogan used to be like "Don't be evil"? Like that used to be like Google's tagline.
Yeah,
their like selling point. I think they deleted that.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't exist anymore. They're like, you know what?
People
we
are
tried
gonna-
the don't be evil thing for a while, and Amazon is fucking destroying us. We gotta
Yeah.
step up the evil. Amazon
do
is
a bit of
killing us right now. So, but they have that little. It's so condescending too. That little arrow, like smile, Amazon logo. It's so
Yeah.
condescending.
I hate it.
I feel looked down upon every time I see it. And I mean, I should ultimately, if I bought something from Amazon, I should feel ashamed of myself, I think.
I am ashamed, but I'm also broke. And
Yes.
Amazon, I can use my credit card points to buy things.
Right.
And I was buying a little battery so I could start busking in Toronto.
Right.
Like I have this battery so I can go like play in a park somewhere and make $30 now.
Sure, yeah.
And I needed to get this battery and I can't afford to buy one.
Yeah.
But I went on
Well,
Amazon.
you also can't buy one anywhere. That's non-essential.
Yeah, exactly. And I can't buy it anywhere. So
Yeah.
I had to order it. And this was the one place where I was like, where I can use my credit card points and pay it off.
That is the type of frugal investing they don't teach you at the Humber College music business course.
Yeah.
But using credit card points.
So yeah, for the listener at home, Tom and I both went to Humber College.
That's right.
Tom has been a successful trumpet player in Toronto for many years.
Well, what does that even mean, Joel?
I mean,
What
you've
does
been
that
able
even
to
mean?
you've been able to
Every moment I feel like I'm the thing that belongs in the trash bin I bought from Amazon.
I wouldn't pay for express shipping for myself. But no, and then I would say you're someone that if people don't know you, like you're like a guy about town on the scene more than most people I know. Like whether you're playing a gig or whether you're just hanging, like you're probably the trumpet player more people know in Toronto than almost anyone.
Yeah, that might be true. And it boils down to like a pretty simple explanation, which is I hate not doing things.
Yes.
Which is like the hardest thing about COVID to me. But it's like, if I'm not... Well, and to tell you the truth, when I first graduated from school, I'm like, okay, I want to be a professional freelance trumpet player. Like, that's what I want to do for a living. And I was just thinking, well, how do I do that? You know, there's so many, like, really good musicians out there and blah, blah, blah. And it's like... But one thing that you can do, because you're 23 years old or 22 years old when you graduate. You're just an idiot. You don't know anything. You still sound relatively bad.
You're bad. And
compared to the people who are out on the scene, like, playing. And
you have no professional skills.
Yeah,
like,
you
even
have
if you
zero
have,
professional
even if you have technical
skills.
skills.
Yeah, none whatsoever. So it's like, how the fuck do you even break in? And I think that most people never find a good answer to that question, and that's why, like, such a small percentage of people who graduate from, I think, any arts program, post-secondary program, end up doing that for a living. Because, like, how do you break in? Like, how do you even get your foot in the door if you don't have, like, nepotism on your side?
Yeah.
So my whole thing, like, as soon as I graduated from school, I was like, I am going to go every single night that I don't have a gig. I'm going to go to a show just so I can meet everybody and know everybody and, like, continue feeling inspired by hearing, like, great music all the time. Because that's the nice thing when you're at school. You're surrounded by great musicians who are doing cool stuff all the time. So you're constantly inspired and striving to do better. But I think once that lifeline is cut from under you, you have to take matters into your own hands. So I was like, I'm going to go every single night out and see a show or play a show, one or the other. And I did that for, I would say, 2.5 years straight, and missed very few nights where I just, like, decided to stay in, like, very few. And I'm just kind of still, like, that's my mindset. I was like, well, I'd rather go and, like, be inspired and, like, hang out with people and see what my peers are up to, because we don't get to see what each other are doing creatively all that much. You see the, like, marquee shit
The sad thing is we mainly see what each other are up to on social media and then don't go to each other's gigs.
Yes, exactly. and I like to go to the gigs, you know what I mean? Like that's because social media is awful. It's a wretched place. It's a truly a bad place.
It's really interesting because I can tell like when I meet someone whether they've been following me on social media or not by how good they think I'm doing.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
totally.
Like someone who's had even one conversation with me in the last 6 months knows, like, you know, there's ups and downs.
Yeah.
Like,
You're like, I'm a wreck.
Things aren't all great. Like it's like if someone sees on Facebook like, oh wow, he's playing at the Rex all the time. But if you came to even one of those Rex gigs, you would have seen that there were 10 people there.
Right, yeah.
And
no,
5
exactly,
of them were at the back of the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Saying like, please, can you know.
But I don't think it's like purely
I miss those gigs
a
so
bad
much.
thing. Yeah, miss those gigs big time. I love bars.
Yeah.
But I don't think social media is purely a bad thing. Like, I think that there are ways to, and I'm sure you agree with me, to have fun with it. And it's one of those things where if all it does is cause you doom and gloom, which is mostly how I feel when I read the bulk of other content on social media. But I try and just like, man, like for me it's fun to just like crack a few jokes and take the piss out of the whole thing and add some levity to increasingly as time goes on, like heavy fucking platform. Yeah. It's either like every post you see is either like a meme page or like actual just like the worst like condense an awful like news story or article into like this big of a space, and it's just like hyper processed like awful news, and
the headline is the most alarmist thing it could possibly be.
Yeah,
right. It's like
because you have to keep eyeballs on it for more than whatever the average 1.8 seconds of looking at a social media post is. Like you want to keep the eyeballs for 5 seconds, you know, and then your social media is winning in that case, right?
Like when we got, like a good example is like when we got the COVID vaccine way faster than anyone thought, and it's insanely effective.
Yeah.
What was the headline? The headline was, just so you know, getting your vaccine doesn't mean we go back to normal.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like, it's like
totally.
the greatest news. Like when
we haven't had good news in a year.
When they got the smallpox vaccine, they like rang the church bells. Like they were like, "Fucking let's go!
Yeah.
We got this."
It was peasants gone wild, man.
Yeah, exactly. They held they held festivals in the town square.
Yeah.
Like, the children danced.
Or it's like AstraZeneca is killing people or whatever. It's like,
exactly.
That's the vaccine I got, by the way. I'm pro-vax. Let's get political. I'm pro-vaccine. Go get fucking vaccinated, man. I want to hug my family again.
If you're not vaccinated, I mean, it's okay. It's your choice, but I do think you're not as smart as me. And I might be wrong.
Dude, it's so crazy. Like, one of the craziest things about it is, like, how did science become so partisan?
Yeah, it's really weird.
Like when not how, we all kind of know the slope that kind of led to it, but when was the line dropped? Because 5 years ago, if you said there was going to be a mass global pandemic and there would be like a vaccine developed rather quickly after the onset of this global pandemic that would prevent it from continuing to spread like wildfire and ravage the population, that a large percentage of the population, like 20+% of the population is just like, and nah, I don't think so, dog.
Yeah.
Because what percentage of the population has any even base level interest in science whatsoever? And I would say I'm not really included in that group. Like when I talk to my scientist friends, I find it interesting what they're talking about. I like to maybe I am included in that group. I would like to know what new scientific discoveries are.
I certainly like to.
But I certainly don't fucking know anything about science. Yeah. I haven't studied science since I was in high school.
Yeah,
which is
and like
half of my life ago.
And I was high.
Like what? Like when did you become a scientific expert? Like, dude, like give me a break.
No, it's
I don't
ridiculous. I think it's less. I do think the vaccine hesitancy it's less of an anti-science thing as a we can't trust the government thing.
Yeah, which is fair. Yo, I don't trust the government either. But why is it in the government's best? Anyway, let's not get into.
We could go down a rabbit hole, but I agree with you.
Thank God you're not the conspiracy theorist, which is fine. Like, whatever. You can believe whatever you want to believe, I guess. Just some beliefs are harmful to others, and it's like, bro, like fucking maybe chill on the
maybe
super
just get
spreader
it.
events.
Everyone's getting it. Like your life's still good. If the vaccine is lethal, I don't think you want to survive.
Okay, I just want to say one more thing about the crazy like vaccine is poisoning us. Bill Gates microchips